Hi everyone and welcome for this brand new video about the Slapshot techniques. During this video we are going to try these techniques where consists to use some dry brush and after using some contrast paints or speed paint depending on the range you are going to use. I have a small preference for speed paint but is really useful in the two different way. So I'm going to show you that on the different kind of miniatures and see in which way that work better, and at the end we will make some conclusion and you can give me your feedback. Thanks again to be a subscriber of this channel. If it's not the case, don't hesitate to subscribe, to click on the ring and to comment to help me a lot to have more and more followers for this channel. And by the way, you can always support me on Patreon if you want more content and more direct feedback from me. Thanks again and let's go for the paint. So to start this Slapshot method, I'm going to start by using some uniform gray and some medium in the same parts of quantity to push my first highlight on all the model. As you can see, I don't try to make something very clean. I just want to push my global lightning everywhere. If you don't have any airbrush, you can just start by using some gray primer that will work pretty well. By the way, you don't need a very qualitative airbrush. That can be done by with a very simple airbrush. Not necessarily something very qualitative. De lumière intense. And now we are going to make the same step but with white, and we are going to focus on the smaller and smaller surfaces than our gray, just to push more our highlights and our big surfaces of highlight. And for the next step of this method, I'm going to use Drybrush brush, and I'm going to take white, whatever the range of white, so just some few white, and I'm going to come and dry brush every edges, and every surface to be through the edges will be really in a strong white. In that way, when I'm going to apply my speed paint color, it's going to be always in the first view. You can use all kind of dry brush, but I'm going to make a tutorial video comparative between three kind of different brush like that. The one from Army Painter, the one from Artist Opus, and the other one directly we are using to and the last step will be to apply our different speed paint color or contrast color depending on what kind of range you are going to use. And I'm going to apply some Fire Giant orange on all the armor parts, some Gravelord gray on all the non-metallic metal parts, some hardened leather on all the leather part, and some holy white on the different clothes, just to have some pretty white color on my different clothes. Remember to apply with a synthetic brush. It's really more easy in my opinion, and more efficient. In that way we continue this time with gravel gray, and we are going to apply on all the different minis. Remember, you can do on a complete series of miniatures, 10 or even if you want more. That will be pretty useful when you do an army. And by the way, remember to apply your speed paint not on paper, because it's going to change the consistency of paint. So focus and use it only with some ceramic surfaces or plastic surfaces. So now I'm going to apply my Holy White from Speedpaint on all the different clauses. And we are going to finish with hardened leather for all the last parts of leather we have on the minis. By the way, it's always preferable to apply on all different miniatures, squad of 5, squad of 10, whatever the number, but because it's going to let the paint being totally dry between the two different color, that will be pretty interesting, because they can more easily be totally dry when you apply the next one, and they are going to help to not some parts who are going to mixing between two surfaces who are too much near each other. So here is the result after the simple Slapchop steps, and you can see the result. It's pretty easy to do and ready for playing. It's a little bit more, I think, better than only contrast without any dry brush, and the result is pretty good to play directly on as tabletop. For the next step, I will probably show you, or I already show you, I'm not sure, depending on when this video is going to be uploaded on the channel. You can see the different base down with ice, and later I will upload for my boss and support on Patreon an involved version of these miniatures, in the way I'm going to apply some airbrush to clean the different surfaces and come back on every edge to pushing more edge highlight to have a better result at the end. And by the way, I'm going to add an other source lightning OSL to have a wow effect on the table. So it's down, and really I hope you enjoy this kind of tutorial. That's the first time I use this method of Slapchop. First time I try on Twitch, and now I continue to do that pretty easily. And so for me, this method is pretty good for the infantry when you need to make a lot of infantry. The limitation is about the size of your miniatures and the quantity of details that work more if you have a middle detailed miniatures. For example, on large surfaces, it's going to create too much strange things and bad dirty surfaces, so I prefer to focus on my airbrush for all of the vehicle and other things, and for infantry that can be pretty good. As I explained to you, a tutorial is already available for my boss on Patreon about how to push the level of your Slapshop Transiperian models, and I will do very soon a new tutorial to show you in the same way an easy way to do the different League of Wotan, and a more developing way for my boss on Patreon. By the way, I thanks every one of you to support me by click on the like, by pushing some comments. That's always welcome, and you can always give me your feedback about these methods into the comments section. Remember, I make live on Twitch every Thursday and every Friday, so don't hesitate to come and paint with me during this live. Thanks again for watching, and see you soon for the next tutorial. Bye bye!